This is the Seven Figure Standard Podcast, hosted by Arash Vossoughi and Mykie Stiller, with mindset and strategies to help you break through and create personal freedom.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Seven Figure Standard Podcast. I'm Mykie Stiller, joined by my co-host, Arash Vossoughi, and we're so happy to be back with you for another episode. Arash, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Mykie. How are you?
I am doing great as well. You know, not too long ago, we were having a conversation with someone and they said that they found the comment, "You have so much potential," to be offensive. And actually, I got that comment a lot growing up and I found it inspiring. Like, I loved it when someone said, you have so much potential, because it meant that they saw something in me and I had somewhere to grow. So you can take it either way. My question for you is potential enough to give someone freedom or great success or have them achieve what they want to achieve in life?
Well, for me, potential means nothing because everyone has God-given potential. But it's what we do with our potential that really defines us. So think about this, like if you look just in somebody's business or somebody's financial status or somebody's health, any way you want to take it. Like right now, if somebody is doing so much better than you, then it's not because they're better than you. It's because they've learned how to unleash their potential better. So potential is God-given. There's no hard work there. The work is in the defining choices we make. So our job, how to unleash our potential, number one, we have to bet on ourselves. So there is no comfort there. We're disrupting comfort all the time. If we're not disrupting comfort, we're not betting on ourselves. We're not putting ourselves on the hook. Like I'm forever telling people, I want the whole world to know my goals because I want the world to become my accountability partner. I'm not afraid to fail. And sure, at a point I was, but I was also losing. So we did this event a few weeks ago called Elevate. It's a mastermind with us. And I told everyone, if you really want to know, if you want to create great wealth, there's two things you want to study. You want to study the people who are really making it happen, and you want to study the people who are really not making it happen. And you're going to find the commonalities. And if you want to create your identity and your results to somebody really making it happen, start following those behaviors. It's very simple to do. My goal is always finding out how to get to my goal faster. I want to find out ways to get there faster. So I'm constantly disrupting comfort and putting myself on the hook. And that's what I encourage all our clients to do, because when you do that, that's how you're unleashing your potential.
So I'm going to say that we all have an unlimited amount of potential, meaning that we're never going to reach it. We're never going to be like, okay, well, I maxed out my potential and I've made it and I'm there. So hopefully everybody listening to this has that feeling of I can step more into my potential. What are the most practical ways that they do that if they're feeling stuck?
Well, first of all, if you're feeling stuck, you don't have a goal you're committed to. Now, you may have a goal written down, but you're not committed to it. So we have to follow our commitment first. What do we really want? And am I going to put myself on the hook to go all in to develop myself into that person? See, the goal is always going to determine the process. And so what that process for each goal we set is completely different. Like how I got here is not going to take us to our next set of goals. So that's going to determine the process. And my job is to disrupt comfort. When I disrupt comfort, now I'm coming from the best version of myself. When I'm succumbing to comfort, I'm just defaulting to my old programming, my old paradigm. So we've got to understand every time we're defaulting to the old program, in our present reality, in our present self, we're the backseat in the car. We're not driving the car. It's just happening automatically. So we want to stop defaulting and keep putting ourselves on the hook. I was telling you before we started this, I said, out of everything we teach, what do people have the hardest time with? And you were kind of saying, well, I'm not sure where you're going with this. And you gave me a lot of different answers that were not wrong. It just wasn't where I was thinking. I know people have the hardest time with is letting go of their old self, letting go of what they need to eliminate, because the paradigm is programmed to defend its operating system. Its operating system is to stay comfortable. And so every time we're aspiring for something greater, the paradigm always brings us back down. You're doing better. You don't know how many clients who keep trying to tell me, well, I'm doing better. I want to hold them to a standard where they shatter their old assumptions. It's not because I don't think they're doing better, but is that better going to be aligned with their goal? See, the goal is our best accountability partner. But we don't want the results to control us. We want our actions to control us. We want getting 1% better and defining that 1% to control us. See, if we just say, I'm going to be 1% better today, what does that mean? How can you measure that? But when you define it and say, I'm going to be 1% better of a leader, I'm going to be 1% more leverage, I'm going to make 1% more calls than I normally make. Now we could define it, and that's how you're going to start unleashing your potential.
Do you think that another problem people run into is they're not willing to do that for long enough? They're not willing to commit to getting better 1% every day for a long enough amount of time. Like they may give it 6 months and then give up.
Yes, because that is a big challenge for people because they don't see the results. I always like using the example of the bamboo tree. And exponential growth is extremely deceptive. That's why we have to fall in love with delayed gratification. An elite performer really understands delayed gratification. They know if they keep doing things long enough, the results are going to come. The average person, I don't see it, so I'm going to switch gears. They're constantly switching. They never go deep enough. Now, how does it relate to the bamboo tree? Once you plant the seed of a bamboo tree, it takes, I can't remember if it's 4 or 5 years for it to actually grow. But under the soil, the root is being formed. Now, our root is getting out of our comfort zone. You're not seeing the results, but you know it's happening. Your processes, that's our roots. But then the bamboo tree, after 4 or 5 years, in 5 weeks, it grows 100 feet in the air. That's no different than unleashing our potential. So we have to start understanding our goals are so important because wherever we set our goal, our attention goes. So we're seeing the world from that picture. But our attention, what follows attention? Intention. So if I'm setting big goals, I'm operating automatically with big intentions. If I'm setting small goals, I'm operating with small intentions. Attention is always followed by intention. Wherever we put our intention follows. Now, what if we became a master at being conscious of the intentions? Now we change the game. Now we're living life by our rules. We're not living in bondage.
So good. All right, let's flip this around. Let's say that you are leading people, whether you're leading people at work or in your own company or even your children, and you see their potential. How do you help them step into their own potential?
Well, you help them by setting big goals. Most leaders lose their best people because their people have outgrown them. No great performer is going to stay in a company or an organization if the leader is not setting big goals. So your job is to set big goals. Your job is to be transformational in terms of your leadership and constantly lead by example. So you could do that as a parent. You could do it as a leader of your company. You could do it as a CEO. So you want to always lead with a bigger idea. Lead with a bigger image. Going back to that, what happens is that part that we have to eliminate, our old self, that's what we want to fall in love with. I want everyone to make yesterday's self inferior to today's self. And you keep stacking that for 60, 90, 120 days, you're going to have a massive quantum leap in your life, but you're going to start tapping in to that potential. I think Jeff Bezos said it the best. I was watching him on YouTube one day, and he said, nothing defines us more than our choices. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Because everybody has potential. So I could understand the person who said, that kind of bugs me. And I can understand where you said as a kid, oh, they see something good in me, right? I can see both sides of it. But if everybody has potential, why isn't everyone winning big? See, the people who are winning big really activate their I don't give an F muscle, and they go all in. They go tap into that alternate identity, say, this is what I'm doing no matter what. Because the universe is just energy, and it always follows the person who's most committed. It will go and have that person's back and said, I'm going to reward this person. So our commitment is so important to unleashing that potential.
Why do you think that there are so many people, the majority of people, who shrink smaller than their potential? And what is the price that they're going to have to pay from doing that?
The price is mediocrity. Their price is no juice. Their price is not experience what life has to offer. The price is not getting to know that other self that's inside of them that's dying to come out. Like all of us have another self. So the price is pretty severe. But the reason they do it because they'd rather succeed at their present self, it's comfortable, than fail at their future self, because that's the unknown. That's like commitment. Commitment is so important and so valuable to our success. But when we make a commitment, there's no guarantee. The person who makes that irrevocable committed decision and says, this is what I'm doing no matter what, they're stepping into the unknown, and they're going to be rewarded if they understand delayed gratification. If they understand some of the topics that we've already talked about, one of the most important things to create a significant life for oneself is deliberate practice, where if someone is listening to this for the first time, that you are working on a skill that your goal demands over and over, and you drill it over and over again until it's automatized. It's one of the best things we can do to achieve a significant transformative relationship with our goals and with our results.
All right, and let's get into an action step for today.
Well, I want you to ask yourself, how often am I succumbing to the past? I want you to just ask yourself right now, if I just observe this week, whenever you're listening to this, and say, did I operate from my future self, or did I operate from my past self? Am I just reactive, or do I have my foot on the gas? See, action is the most important thing you do, but if you start being aware of this and make a decision today, and a decision means death of anything opposite of that, and start taking actions out of your comfort zone, you're going to start unleashing your potential. And ask yourself right now, while I'm saying this, I want you to listen to my voice and think about you. Did I bet on myself? Have I been betting on myself? Because nothing's going to unleash your potential beyond betting on yourself. It's the number one thing to activate that other self to come out of you. Because I will tell you, there is another person that knows how to do 10 times better than what you're doing. And you're going to benefit from allowing that person to come out of you.
So good. And not only are you going to benefit, but everybody around you is going to benefit as well. Really quickly, will you talk about the ripple effect of stepping into your potential, and then we'll end it?
Well, the ripple effect is massive self-respect. The ripple effect is new standards. The ripple effect is being proud of yourself. The ripple effect is all these new opportunities are going to start coming your way. We have to make this a definite part of our philosophy that I bet on myself every day, because you're with yourself your whole life. There's no better person to bet on than you. I don't care what's happened in the past. I don't care what's happening right now. If you will bet on yourself, you'll change. See, there's too many people right now operating, Mike, with the past determines their present determines their future. So all they are is on a treadmill. And every year they set goals and they never achieve them. Mm-hmm. Why? Because the past self, our past is dead. but we're remembering the past from our present self. And when the paradigm takes control, that's why we stay in comfort.
So good. All right. Thank you all so much for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please leave us a rating and a review. Share this with your friends and family. And hey, if you want to join us live, we have a in-person public event coming up called Transform Live in Phoenix, Arizona. You can get more information at vosscoachingco.com. All right, Arash, thank you so much. And we'll see you next week for another episode of the 7-Figure Standard podcast.
Thank you for listening to this episode of 7-Figure Standard. We hope you found the insights and strategies helpful on your journey to success. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform to help us reach more people like you. To learn more about Arash and Mykie and how Voss Coach & Co. can help you achieve your goals and reach new levels of success, visit vosscoachingco.com. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of 7-Figure Standard.